years old. Her little sister had a skin disease caused by pollution in Mexico City. She had a good life in Mexico City. Her dad was a lawyer. Her mom stayed at home. Now both her parents clean homes in the United States. Michelle is now in her first semester at Community College of Denver. She went to Fairview High School and was on the girls' soccer team as a forward. She also won an award from the Boulder Youth Advisory Board, or YOAB, for Greatest Helper in the Boulder community because of her community service. She credited one of her teachers, Mrs. Carpenter, for helping to get her involved with community service, including the Rotary Club. Michelle has never been back to Mexico City. She's now 18 years old. She found out she was undocumented in 8th grade when she wanted to go on a school trip to Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. Michelle wants to transfer to study marine biology. She said, "I would love to study marine biology, but I'm not sure they'll let me because of my situation." She continued on the phone with me last week, "My life is here now. It's not our decision to come here, but we came and we're studying and we're trying to make our lives better than our parents and to make a good life for ourselves. They are stopping the dreams for students who don't have papers. I don't know if they want us to work in McDonald's or Wendy's. I don't know what they want us to do. They aren't letting us reach our goal or our dreams." Madam Speaker, I ask all of us, what do we want Michelle to do? I believe, Madam Speaker, that we want Michelle as an American. Constituent service is one of the most fulfilling components of our job on both sides of the aisle. In elected office, it's fundamentally a helping occupation. We enjoy helping people. We might have different ideas about how to do it, but that's why we're here. There's little satisfaction as good as helping a veteran who served our country get the benefits that he's entitled to but had been wrongfully turned down for by a faceless bureaucracy. We're fundamentally in this business to help people. When a constituent can stay in their home because of our work and finding an alternative to foreclosure, what thrill can top that for a member of this body? And then, Madam Speaker, there's times when we're not able to help. Chi Tsung Kao is 24 years old. His story started when he was 4. He entered the States with his mother with a visitor's visa, which was later changed to a student visa. I talked to him on the phone last week. He said, "I was basically dropped off at my grandmother's in Boulder, Colorado, as my mother left back for Taiwan. During his stay with his paternal grandparents, his student visa expired. Due to their negligence, they forgot to renew it. Chi was 17 years old before he learned that his visa had expired. Since then, he's looked for different legal routes to obtain some sort of legal status, all leading to dead ends. I was impotent in my office, as was our senators, to help young Chi find any route that would allow him to contribute to this country. Chi is a college graduate with a civil engineering degree from the Colorado School of Mines, our premier engineering university in Golden, Colorado. And now, Madam Speaker, Chi is serving in the Taiwanese military due to their conscription policy, and he's trying to readjust to his life there. This is how he describes his life. He said, "I'm illiterate in Chinese, which makes simple everyday tasks here in the military difficult. I'm trying to learn basic spoken Chinese, but I can't even understand their basic commands. I try to move when others move. I'll see how they'll utilize me after my basic training ends and I'm assigned to a new post, but many superiors have told me they're not sure what they're going to be doing with me." Now, you know, Chi contacted my office for help, but I wasn't able to intervene, and America lost this great mind, this great contributor, this engineer. You know, he wrote to me an email. He hopes that his story helps paint a small piece of the larger picture for those who don't understand the situation and the feeling of helplessness that many students of young people have. He said, "It's a hard thing, feeling like the country you consider home doesn't want you in the country at all." Visualize this image, Madam Speaker, of a young man with an engineering degree from Colorado's premier engineering school forced to serve in the military of a foreign country where he knows no one, trying to obey orders in a language he doesn't understand. It's farcical. This is a waste of human capital, a waste of our taxpayer money to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars educating Chi only to force him to serve in the military of a country where he doesn't even speak the language and has no loyalty to. It's absurd, and it happens every day. The DREAM Act, which our House passed and the Senate failed to act on, will solve it, and it will be the challenge for all of us in this body, in the next Congress, to answer how we can help Chi and others like him. We hold their futures in our hand, Madam Speaker. And while this Congress failed to act, the question doesn't go away. It puts all of us in a position of having to go back to these young people, Claudia, Zandy, Chi, and say, not yet, when we all know it's inevitable. This debate is about how to make our country stronger, more secure, more prosperous. This debate is about our values. This debate is about Zandy, Luis. This debate is about our country and our future. We've invested over $70,000 of taxpayer money in Michelle's education. Now it's our choice. Do we want her to be a respected marine biologist or an illegal immigrant cleaning buildings for $6 an hour? It's up to us. Which is better for us? Which is better for our nation? In our shoes, what do we want them to do, these young people, to better us and to better our nation? Is somehow consigning a future scientist who might discover the cure to cancer to clean offices at 2 in the morning at minimum wage or below wise? Michelle Crow, the president of Arizona State University, said there's $1 million difference over a lifetime between the earning capacity of a high school graduate and a college student. Drew Faust, the president of Harvard, said the DREAM Act would throw a lifeline to these students who are already working hard in our middle and high schools and living in our communities by granting them the temporary legal status that would allow them to pursue post-secondary education. By fixing this, Madam Speaker, we will not only help these young people, we will help eliminate the achievement gap in our schools and inspire other students to achieve by upping the ante of performance in our public schools. In the words of Secretary Arne Duncan of Education, he said, passing the DREAM Act will unleash the full potential of young people who live out values that all Americans cherish, a strong work ethic, service to others, and a deep loyalty to our country. If not the DREAM Act, then what? What do we tell these young people? What do I tell Michelle? What do I tell Zandy? How do any of us answer these constituents of ours who are stateless individuals? The theme of my service in Congress is human capital issues, improving our schools, our education, increasing access to higher education, taking on entrenched interests where necessary to improve our human capital. But the flip side of education aspect of developing human capital is immigration. Not only do we want to grow the next generation of global leaders here at home, we want to import the best and brightest from around the world, and we keep shooting ourselves in our own foot in this regard. We lost Chi, not because of him, but because of us. We turned a highly trained, taxpayer-financed engineer into an incompetent enlistee in a foreign military. Doesn't sound very smart to me. We should want to provide students with powerful incentives to stay in school, do well, and graduate. A 2010 study by the UCLA North American Integration and Development Center estimated that the earnings from the beneficiaries of the DREAM Act over the course of their working lives would be between $1.4 and $3.6 trillion for America. We want them working in America. We are causing a brain drain of our own making, a drain in which the very best of a generation, the college-bound, the graduate school-bound, the doctors, the servicemen, the scientists and poets, are given a terrible choice. Go to a distant land where you have no connection, may not even speak the language, or stay here and work in an underground, unskilled labor market. Fixing immigration and the DREAM Act would also improve our national security. Leaders from the armed services have been nearly unanimous in their support of the bill because they recognize it would help our military shape and maintain a mission-ready, all-volunteer force. Former Secretary of State General Colin Powell and military leaders from both parties have spoken in support of the DREAM Act, as has Defense Secretary Robert Gates. You know, I don't frequently make moral arguments in this chamber. I heard one of the earlier speeches by Mr. Gomer, and our theology doesn't have a lot in common, Madam Speaker, but we try to find common ground. I think the members of this chamber, whether they come from the faith traditions of Christianity or Judaism, Islam or Buddhism, agnosticism or atheism, various strings of orthodoxy within their traditions, we like to consider ourselves moral people. Let me quote from Deuteronomy 24:16. Fathers shall not be put to death for their sons, nor shall sons be put to death for their fathers. There is not a moral code prevalent in Judeo-Christian thought that suggests that it's moral for humanity to visit the sins of the father upon the son.